Once again, the drums have sounded, summoning us to the square where we speak about issues that affect you and me. And today's is particularly juicy. I will take you straight away to the Punch newspaper where there's some good for Italy. And you're wondering, how does this concern us in Lagos, in Nigeria? I'm about to tell you. Italian authorities have received over 40 stolen antiques that were stolen from Italy. This follows attempts by the authorities in New York to shake off the reputation as a key global hub for illicit art trade. Now, investigators handed back 42 exceptional pieces that are some 2,500 years old to Italian officials during the ceremony in New York. Now, this is according to a statement from the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Now, here is where it affects us very, very closely. Nigeria is no stranger to stolen artifacts, the most popular of which are still resident in the Museum of London. Artifacts that date back to pre-colonial Nigeria. Artifacts that belong to an entire culture, an entire civilization that existed on its own before the entry of the British. I'm talking about the artifacts that were looted from the Benin Kingdom back when the palace of the Oba of Benin was sacked by a British expeditionary force. Now, these artifacts have been in the news over and over and over again. But in recent times, there was some good news as some of the artifacts were returned to Nigeria. 31 stolen Benin bronze artifacts were returned to Nigeria after spending 125 years outside the shores of our great nation. They were returned by the Smithsonian National Museum of African Art. One was returned from the National Gallery of Art and another from the Rhode Island School of Design Museum. Nigeria's Minister of Information and Culture at the time, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and Professor Abba Tijani, the Director General of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, witnessed the transfer of the artifacts. A representative of the Oba of Benin, Prince Erediawa, also witnessed the historic repatriation ceremony at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. Now, these are artifacts that have been returned from the US. There have also been artifacts returned to Nigeria from places like Germany. But we still have artifacts that are very, very representative of our culture in the hands of foreign nations, foreign governments. And I'm talking about the Benin art that is still present in the London Museum. Now, these artifacts are undoubtedly belonging to a tribe in Nigeria, one of Nigeria's more historic tribes. And it is no wonder that there have been calls for these artifacts to be returned to Nigeria. But the question I'd like to ask you this morning before I start to deliberate, I get very excited when I come to talking about art. The question I would like to ask this morning is, do we really need to have these artifacts returned to Nigeria? That's one question. And the other question would be, what benefits do these artifacts hold for Nigeria? And how can we get them returned to Nigeria? If you have answers to these questions, I look forward to hearing them. 0913 5000 953 is our number. Perhaps you want to even speak on the question as to whether or not Nigeria needs to have these artifacts returned. Would like to hear your take this morning. Our number is 0913 5000 953 as well as 0901 111 1953. It's your take this morning on your Beyond the News station, and we are talking about stolen artifacts